looking crazy, a storm on the horizon, the pressure is low. Gotta get moving, put on a show. The news is all buzzing, state of alert, but we've got a plan, we're ready to work. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. See a little fire or a rising flood, we're a well-oiled machine, we're running in the mud. From the city hall meetings to the rescue teams, turning worst case scenarios into hopeful dreams. We're training the people, we're stocking the gear, we're the team you can count on when trouble is near. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. It's more than a job, it's a calling, you see. Prepared for the present and what's yet to be. Every second counts, we're ready to react for our communities. We're making an impact. Emergency Management Associates, we're here for the crisis, we're here for the fates. From the first sign of trouble to the all clear sign, we're on the front lines, we're one of a kind. Emergency Management Associates, we're the calm in the chaos, we're opening gates, connecting the dots and making the calls. We're picking you up when you're starting to fall. Yeah, we're picking you up, we're ready to go. EMA, let's get this show on the road.
Let's get this show on the road. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, guys. My name's Ron Tyler. Just a quick second here, and I'll have things completely organized here. We've been doing this show now over 6.5 years. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We've been busy literally all day long with this show. All kinds of information has come in. The biggest event that we've had today is a 7.6 magnitude earthquake that actually happened last night over in the Philippines. Over 100 earthquakes have already been recorded. Over 100 aftershocks, guys. Over 100 aftershocks. And USGS is not even showing all of them. It's amazing what's happened here. Now, I want to show you what has happened here. Okay? I've got a video I've gathered here to play for you that will give you a good idea of the damage that the Philippines is facing today. Okay? This happened in the afternoon of October 10th. Okay, today is October 10th now here in the United States, but this is yesterday afternoon in the Philippines. Watch this.
Aveyah, Philippines, October 10th, 2025.
Hawak ka.
Lord!
A magnitude 7.4 earthquake has struck the Mindanao region in the Philippines, sparking a tsunami warning for potentially hazardous waves, according to seismology authorities. After initial magnitude recordings from the United States Geological Survey, USGS, and the European Mediterranean Seismological Center, EMSC, on Friday, the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology logged the earthquake as a magnitude 7.6.
Jesus Lord.
Oh! Grabe linog! Hey! Grabe kusuga! Hey!
Help us, Lord. Lord.
Hold on a second, guys. I can't let that commercial go out with the music.
Struck off the eastern side of Mindanao Island, some 123 kilometers, 79 miles, from the island's capital Davao, at a depth of 58.1 kilometers, 36 miles, according to USGS. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, PHIVOLCS, said a destructive tsunami is expected with life-threatening wave heights, and warned people in coastal areas of east and southern Philippines to evacuate. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center in Honolulu said hazardous waves were possible within 300 kilometers, 186 miles of the epicenter. The U.S. Tsunami Warning System warned 1 to 3 meter wave heights could be possible for parts of the Philippines, while some coasts of Indonesia, as well as the island nation of Palau, could see waves of 30 centimeters to 1 meter. In Manay, Davao Oriental, people ran out of a gymnasium when the quake struck during the Kanjali Festival celebration. 2 teachers fainted out of fright and were rushed to the hospital. Other teachers were seen carrying chairs over their heads as protection from possible debris. The Office of Civil Defense in Region 11 said that based on partial reports he received, several structures were damaged in Manay town following the quake. In General Santos City, hanging lamps and electric posts were seen swaying due to the quake. The quake also sent elementary students of Bukidnon State University in Malabale City out of their classrooms, wearing their hard hats. PHIVOLCS warned that the quake could spawn aftershocks. Classes were suspended in several areas due to the quake.
As you can see, there's a lot of damage all over southern Philippines. Okay? The quake hit off the southeast shore of Mindanao, Philippines. Okay? Let me show you that right now. Okay, this is Mindanao, Philippines. Let me take down our webcam and our banner here so I can show you exactly what's going on. Okay? This is Mindanao, Philippines. This quake struck off the eastern shore of the island. This is a major island in the Philippines, the largest island in the Philippines. Okay? Huge earthquake. USGS has this as a 7.4, it was actually a 7.6 earthquake. 7.6 earthquake. Major damage. Okay? Now, Davao City is over there towards the central south part of the country. Okay? But this area along the shoreline was the hardest hit. You saw the damage at Davao City. Can you imagine the damage over here near the shoreline in the communities that are over here? Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. How about this area right here? They were probably the hardest hit. As I said, the most dangerous part is right next to the quake. This was 76 miles east of Davao City. This is just offshore, guys. This just offshore on the fault zone. Look where it happened. Right on the edge of the plate. Right on the very edge of the plate. Let me back this out. I want you to understand where this is. There are 7 different tectonic plates in this region. 7 different tectonic plates in this region, spanning from over in Tonga, Samoa area, all the way over into Australia, all the way over here in Indonesia, all the way up here into the Philippines, all the way up here into Taiwan, Hong Kong, and even up here into Tokyo, Japan. 7 different tectonic plates in play here. Unreal. Unreal. But what some people don't realize, what most people don't realize, let me show you this. Each one of those plates, as I said, there are 7 different plates in place here. 7 different tectonic plates in play here. Okay? Each one of those plates are subducting just like this. Subducting one on the other just like this. That is why we have so many earthquakes in the Southeast Asia area. Every one of these plates are subducting. Huge subduction area. The largest subduction area in the world. Just like we're going to have subduction over on the Pacific Northwest within the next 5 years. It's already subducting, but a major earthquake is going to happen off the Pacific Northwest coast. It's happening here as well. Right on the edge of the plate here. Okay? Last night's quake happened over here on the edge of the plate. That's why there's so much damage. That is why that earthquake was so large. Now, I believe it's going to happen more. We're going to probably have another 100 to 200 aftershocks. I believe we're going to have another 100 to 200 aftershocks before this all is all said and done. The United States Geological Survey is not telling the truth at all. We've talked about that in the past. They're not even showing all the earthquakes here. Okay? There are 7 different aftershocks that are large 5.0 and larger quakes. 7 different large aftershocks. Unreal. 5.1 to 6.7. 5.1 to 6.7 aftershocks, guys. That's huge. That's huge. And it's not over. Not over at all. Why is this going to happen? Again, there is a subduction zone here in this area. One plate is subducting under the other plate. That's what's causing these earthquakes here today. I want to make that very clear. Okay? A lot of people don't understand. I think I told you a while back that I received a letter a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, from a lady in the Philippines asking me why, or actually Indonesia, excuse me, got a letter from a lady in Indonesia asking me why were they having so many earthquakes. This is the reason. This is the very reason. 7 different tectonic plates in this region, each one subducting under the other. Now, look what's happening here in Indonesia today. They're showing 3 earthquakes here in Indonesia. There are 28 earthquakes today here in Indonesia. USGS is showing this one a 5.5, which is a mid-range 5 large earthquake here in the Banda Sea. In the Banda Sea, guys, yes, there are earthquakes here all the time. This is not the only earthquake here. Okay? Here in the Banda Sea, this is out in the ocean. For the most part, the ocean waters have absorbed the shockwaves of these quakes. Not so in the Philippines. This is a 5.5 large quake. There are other islands very close, such as this island right here. Most of the islands here in Indonesia are not occupied, not inhabited. But when we get an earthquake like this in the Banda Sea even, if the earthquake is close enough to one of these islands, it can get major damage. A 5.5 earthquake can cause major damage. I want to make that very clear. Okay? USGS started renaming the size of these earthquakes a year ago, a little over a year ago. They are calling these moderate quakes. There is nothing moderate about a large earthquake. The 7.6 off the Philippine coast last night is a major earthquake. Major earthquake. Now, I want to allay some fears here. Okay? I want to allay some fears here. A lot of people got on edge last night saying this was a major quake and there were going to be tsunamis. There was no tsunami. There was no tsunami, guys. Okay? Now, let me show you this. This is from the National Tsunami Center last night, within a very short time after the quake happened. They were saying that this was a 7.4 earthquake because the USGS said it was. Okay? Notice the time element here. 1844 hours Pacific Daylight Time. That's here in the United States. Okay? This happened just after 9:44 p.m. Eastern Time on my coast. Okay? But in the Philippines, it was the middle of the afternoon today. Okay? The depth of this earthquake was 14 miles deep. This was a very shallow quake. Based on all available data at that time, there is no tsunami threat at all. No tsunami threat to Guam, Rota, Tinian, Saipan, Hawaii, or even anywhere else in the world. Based on all available data, destructive Pacific-wide tsunami is not expected. There's no tsunami threat to Hawaii. The Pacific coastal regions outside California. The Pacific coastal regions outside California, Oregon, Washington, British Columbia, Alaska, should refer to the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center messages at tsunami.gov. And that's where I'm going to refer all of you as well. If you want more information about this tsunami, go to tsunami.gov. In the lower part of the website, tsunami.gov, they'll give you more information about all these quakes all around the globe. But here, there's no tsunami at all. Okay? A destructive Pacific-wide tsunami is not expected, and there's no tsunami threat. Yes, around the Philippines, they were saying that they could have up to 1 meter to 3 meter high tsunami wave. That didn't happen. Now, this was the only national tsunami message that tsunami.gov put out. This was and is the only tsunami warning message that went out. There was a huge uproar last night when I posted this. Oh, there's a tsunami warning. No, there's not. The tsunami warning was canceled. The tsunami warning was canceled, guys. Now, Sergey is asking about that new earthquake that happened over in the Drake Passage south of South America. Let's go over to the USGS map and take a look at it. They may not even have this quake posted yet. Okay, let's take a look at it. Hey, it's there. Look at this. This is put out as a 7.6 major quake. Okay, in the Drake Passage down here. The Drake Passage is over in the area between the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean. Okay, this earthquake happened over on the Antarctic Ridge. This earthquake happened on the Antarctic Ridge here. Let me take down my webcam so you can more clearly see what we're showing you here. There you got it. Now I'm going to go over to the National Tsunami Warning Center and see what they say. Just give me a second here. Okay. Okay, they say there is a tsunami threat, and the National Tsunami Warning Center has this as a 7.8 earthquake, not a 7.6 like the USGS said it was. They have it as a 7.8 magnitude earthquake. Now let's go down here. I'm going down here. Let me see if I can show this page to you on our program here. Give me a second, guys. Okay, this is what the Tsunami Warning Center would show us right here. They're showing that earthquake down here in the Drake Passage. Okay, let's continue to scroll down here. Okay. Okay, near the Drake Passage, south of Central America. Okay, that's what they're showing. Okay, just a second, guys. This is just a little bit deceiving what the U.S. Tsunami Warning Center is showing us here. Okay, let me read to you what we have here. This is Tsunami Information Statement number 1. This is the first message that the Tsunami Warning Centers put out. No tsunami threat from a distant earthquake. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.8 occurred in the Drake Passage at 9:29 a.m. SST, which would be where that earthquake occurred, today, October 10th. Based on all available data, there is no tsunami threat to American Samoa from this quake. Over in that area where that tsunami hit, however, there might be a tsunami threat there. But out in the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, there's no tsunami threat at all. Okay? Now, I'm going to try to get out more information here for you. Okay, this is a statement from the National Weather Service for the United States East Coast, Gulf of American states, and Eastern Canada. There is no tsunami danger for the U.S. East Coast, the Gulf American states, or the East Coast of Canada. Earthquakes of this size are known to generate tsunami dangerous waves to shorelines near the source. Exactly, near the source, guys. Apparently, we have absolutely no tsunami threat to anywhere else, but possibly the coastal areas of South America, Chile and Argentina. Possibly to Chile and Argentina, but I have no information about that at all. Give me a second to see if I can come up with anything else here. All right, West Coast information. They do not have any information about South America at all. They have information about the Pacific Coast region, not the Pacific Coast region, the Pacific Ocean region, north to south. They don't have any information at all about South America. Okay, I just checked on something else here. Just a second here. Nope, that has nothing to do with this. Okay, this next statement here is about that earthquake. Again, they're calling that a 7.8 earthquake south of South America in the Drake Passage. Okay. This message is issued for informational purposes only in support of the UNESCO, IOC, Pacific Tsunami Warning Center, and mitigation system as meant for national authorities and each country of that system. National authorities will determine the appropriate level of alert for each country, and they may issue additional or more refined information. A 7.8 earthquake off the coast of South America in Drake Passage. Okay, the depth of this earthquake is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay, that's happened. Based on the preliminary earthquake parameters, hazardous tsunami waves are possible for the coastal areas located within 1,000 kilometers of the earthquake epicenter. I'm going to read that again. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.8 has occurred in the Drake Passage at approximately 2029 UTC on Friday, October 10th. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to try to put this up on our program here. I want everybody to realize what's going on, and I think the best way to do this is to put it up here so everybody can see it. Okay, hold on. Just give me a quick second here. Okay, they've issued message number 2, but it has not changed from message number 1. So I'm going to bring up that information for you right now. Give me a second. Okay, I've got it here for you. Okay, this is it. Okay, preliminary earthquake parameters here. Again, a 7.8 earthquake happened off the south coast of South America in the Drake Passage. Again, it's 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.8 has occurred in the Drake Passage. Okay, 2029 hours UTC, 8:29 UTC, based on the preliminary earthquake parameters. Hazardous tsunami waves are possible for the coastal areas located within 1,000 kilometers of the earthquake epicenter. Hazardous tsunami waves from this earthquake are possible within 1,000 kilometers of the epicenter of the coast. Okay? Government agencies are responsible for threatened coastal areas, and they should take appropriate action to inform and instruct any coastal populations at risk in accordance with their own evaluation, procedures, and the level of threat. Persons located within the threatened coastal areas should stay alert for information and follow instructions from national and local authorities. Estimated arrival times, okay? Puerto Williams, 10:36 UTC. Now, these are only estimated times, okay? These are only estimated times. We don't have a wave height at all as of this time, but a possible tsunami wave could happen. Puerto Williams, Chile, 10:36 UTC. Punta Arenas, Chile, 2049 UTC. Potential threats, potential impacts. A tsunami is a series of waves, as we've said before. The time between wave crests can vary from 5 minutes to an hour. The hazard may persist for many hours or even longer after the initial wave. Impacts can vary significantly from one section of the coast to the next section due to local bathymetry at the bottom of the ocean. Bathymetry is at the bottom of the ocean, okay? Depending on the size and shape of the bottom of the ocean, okay? bathymetry, and the shape and elevation of the shoreline. Impacts can also vary depending upon the state of the tide, whether it's low tide, medium tide, or maximum tsunami waves. Persons caught in the water of a tsunami wave may drown. Persons caught in the water in the wave, a tsunami wave, may drown and be crushed by debris in the water or be swept out to sea. Next update and additional information. The next message will be issued within 1 hour or sooner if the situation warrants. Authoritative information about the quake from the U.S. Geological Survey can be found on the internet at earthquake.usgs.gov. Earthquake.usgs.gov. Further information about this event may be found at www.tsunami.gov. That's where I'm getting this information right now. Coastal regions of Hawaii, American Samoa, Guam, CNMI should refer to Pacific Tsunami Warning Center messages specifically for those places that can be found at tsunami.gov. Coastal areas, California, Oregon, and Washington, British Columbia, and Alaska should only refer to U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center messages that can be found at www.tsunami.gov. That's the information we have from tsunami.gov. If that changes, we'll give you more information. And they said the secondary message may occur within 1 hour. Okay, let me refresh this. Let's refresh this and see if we have anything else happening here. Okay, no, all we have is message number 1 so far. Okay, I'm just checking something real quick. Okay, now we have tsunami message number 2. I'm going to read it to you. Again, this is had as a 7.8 earthquake. Okay, today at 20:29 hours UTC, down in the Drake Passage south of South America. Based on the preliminary earthquake parameters, hazardous tsunami waves are possible for coastal areas located within 1,000 kilometers of the earthquake epicenter. Hazardous tsunami waves from this earthquake are possible within 1,000 kilometers of the earthquake epicenter, along with the coastal areas of Chile. Government agencies are responsible for threatened coastal areas. They should take action to inform and instruct any coastal populations at risk in accordance with their own evaluation procedures and the level of threat. Now, they said estimated arrival times of the wave. Again, today, Puerto Williams, Chile, 0024 hours, which is 12:24 UTC. Punta Arenas, Chile, 0932 hours. Then they describe the tsunami waves again as a series of tsunami waves, not just one. A series of tsunami waves that may vary in height and time from 5 minutes to an hour apart. The hazard may persist for many hours or longer after the initial wave. Impacts can vary significantly from the sector of the coast to the next due to local bathymetry and shape and elevation of the shoreline. Impacts can vary depending on the state of the tide whether it's high tide, low tide, or in between that area, and also maximum tsunami wave height. Persons caught in the water of a tsunami may drown. They may be crushed by debris in the water or even swept out to sea. They said this is tsunami message number 2. They said the next message could be issued within 1 hour time period or sooner if the situation warrants. Okay. In the past, about a month or so ago, we had a 7.4 here. This 7.8 is 100 times stronger. This 7.8 is 100 times stronger than the 7.4 we had here over a month ago. You need to understand that. The 7.8 earthquake is a lot stronger. Okay? Sandra Goss is asking everybody here in the chat, please give this channel a thumbs up if you enjoy what we're doing here. Give this broadcast a thumbs up to get the word out to YouTube. Okay? YouTube looks at our thumbs up and says whether they're going, or tells whether they're going to allow anybody else on YouTube to see this broadcast. Okay? So again, the next message could be issued within the next 1 hour, 60 minutes. Now they've already issued message number 3. Let me get that to you right now. Tsunami message number 3. Guys, I'm sorry for this. I should have put up our webcam here. I'm sorry about that. Let me put up the webcam here so you can see me. My bad. I'm sorry for that. Okay. This is tsunami message number 3. This message is issued for information only in support of UNESCO and the ILC Pacific Tsunami Warning Information and Mitigation System. It's meant for national authorities in each country of that system. National authorities will determine the appropriate level of alert for each country and may issue additional and more refined information. Tsunami level message number 3. The tsunami forecast is updated in this message. Okay? The preliminary magnitude may change from 7.8 to 7.6, they say. Okay? The earthquake magnitude changed from 7.8 to 7.6. That's still 2 points higher than the 7.4 that was originally issued. Okay? Now they're saying it's 7.6. It's still much stronger than the 7.4 that occurred here over a month ago. Okay? This is still a depth of 14 kilometers deep, 9 miles deep. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 has occurred. Same time period, 2029 hours UTC. Based on all available data, hazardous tsunami waves are forecast for some coasts. The tsunami forecast indicates no tsunami amplitudes above 0.3 meters high, meaning approximately 0.3 meters, which is about 3 inches high for any coast. No tsunami amplitudes above 0.3 meters high, 3 inches basically, which is just several centimeters. We will continue to monitor this nearest sea level gauges to confirm this forecast. Government agencies are responsible for threatening coastal areas and should take appropriate action to inform, instruct, and coastal populations at risk in accordance with their own evaluations, procedures, and level of threat. Persons located in the threatened coastal areas should stay alert for information and follow instructions from national and local authorities. Again, to repeat this, a tsunami is a series of waves. The time between wave crests can vary from 5 minutes to an hour. The hazard may persist for many hours or longer after the initial wave. The tsunami wave can actually happen for 24 hours or even longer. Okay? Impacts can vary also upon the state of the tide at the time of the maximum tsunami waves, meaning low tide, max tide, or in between. Low tide, high tide, and in between. Persons again caught in the water of a tsunami may drown, may be crushed by debris in the water, or may be swept out to sea. Again, they're saying that the next message could be issued within 1 hour or sooner if the situation permits, if the situation warrants it. So far, we've had 3 tsunami warning messages. I will continue to monitor this and see if that changes. Okay? Now I have other information for you. Okay? First thing I want to do is go over to the USGS map again. Okay? Yes, we've had some action on the earthquake map. As we've already shown you. There's been plenty of information go up here. Okay? Let's take down our banner here. Let's back this map out here to give you a better idea what is happening here. Okay? Let's back it out from the Drake Passage here. Okay, now there's been another earthquake over in the South Sandwich Islands to the east. There's been another earthquake over in the South Sandwich Islands to the east. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. A 4.8 moderate earthquake. Now I'm going to my device here, and there may be additional earthquakes that have happened here. In other words, aftershocks that the USGS is obviously not showing us. So I'm going to bring those up as well. Yes, we have 2 additional aftershocks that have happened just around the main earthquake. There's been a 4.0 and a 4.5 earthquake. There's been a 4.0 and a 4.5 earthquake over in the Drake Passage as well. 4.0 and 4.5 aftershock in the Drake Passage. This map is according to the EMSC, the European Meteorological Agency. The European Meteorological Center. Okay, there's that. Again, over in the South Sandwich Islands, we have a 4.8 earthquake there. Okay, now let's go north. Now, one of the biggest things that people have been following recently, especially those of you that monitor our channel, is this earthquake over off the abandoned Oregon coast. Okay, last night, Layman largest area here. Last night, off abandoned Oregon. Okay, this happened after 2000 hours, which is actually 8 p.m. Eastern Time last night. This is a 3.0 earthquake on the Blanco fracture zone. The Blanco fracture zone. This is in the Cascadia subduction zone region. The Cascadia subduction zone region. You notice the Cascadia subduction zone is that earthquake fault that runs parallel to the shoreline of Northern California, Oregon, and Washington up here of British Columbia, Canada. That is the Cascadia subduction zone. There's also one other fault zone here. There's one other fault zone that runs from Queen Charlotte Island, or what they now call Haida Gwaii, from Queen Charlotte Island, or Haida Gwaii here, runs all the way down south to the Blanco fracture zone. Runs south from Haida Gwaii here all the way down to the Blanco fracture zone. That's called the Juan de Fuca Fault. J-U-A-N-D-E-F-U-C-A. Juan de Fuca Fault. Then we come down here to the Blanco fracture zone. The Blanco fracture zone is that small area here, and actually it's a very large area, about 150, 200 miles long here. The Blanco fracture zone, an earthquake fault here, running from the northwest to the southeast out here in the Pacific Ocean. This earthquake is on the Blanco fracture zone, a 3.0 small earthquake. 3.0 small earthquake. Now, are there going to be more earthquakes? Probably yes. The answer to that is probably yes. There are going to be more earthquakes here. Okay, there already are. Not just here in this area here, but I want to back this out a little more and show you Vancouver Island. Okay, USGS is not showing you this. This is a 1.66 earthquake here. This is a 1.66 tremor here off the northwest shore of Vancouver Island. Okay, that earthquake happened at 1:56 p.m. this afternoon Pacific time. Okay, so now we have two earthquakes in the Cascadia subduction zone region. In the subduction zone region right here. Okay, we need to know that. We need to know that. Because quite honestly, we are expecting a Cascadia subduction zone earthquake sometime within the next 5 years. I believe sometime within the next 5 years, we're going to have a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. Now that's just an estimate. That's my estimate. Some scientists are agreeing with me. Other scientists are saying, no, Ron, it's going to be in the next 25 years. Some scientists are saying 5 years, even 15 years out. But there are some scientists, and I'm going with that statement, that we may have a Cascadia megathrust earthquake to the tune of a 9.0, 10.0 magnitude earthquake within the next 5 years. Okay? I've explained that a lot over the last year or so. It's going to happen. Nova Scotia Rich is here in the chat saying, could it get any worse? Yes. It could always get worse. Now, Rich is also saying that there is a 2.8 earthquake in France. Well, guess what? You want to know what else has happened in France? Let me bring up France here. Look at this, guys. USGS says nothing. Nothing in France at all. Would you like to see something here? Look at that. All kinds of earthquakes over there in France and northern Italy. All kinds of earthquakes here. And USGS is admitting there's one earthquake in France. Fascinating, but no cigar. Fascinating, but no cigar. Okay? Down here in the Alps Mountains, we have 10 plus earthquakes down here. Now, these earthquakes are going to vary here. They're mostly minor tremors. Minor tremors. 1.0 in the French Alps, or I'm sorry, the Swiss Alps, 2.1 here. 2.1 here in the Swiss Alps here. Okay, 2.1, 1.8, 0.5, microquake. Now we go out over south to the Italian Alps. This is a 1.2 tremor here. So already we've had 2 minor earthquakes over in the Swiss Alps. Let's go further south here. This is in the French Alps here. This is a 2.3 in the southern French Alps. 2.3 minor earthquake. 1.4. This is further south over here in the Italian Alps. Okay. Then South Piedmont, Italy, a 0.9 microquake. Ligura, Italy, along the coastline of Italy, the southern part of that coastline here in northern Italy, that is a 1.0 tremor. Further over here to the east, this is a 2.5 in Italy. Okay, yes, there's earthquakes there. Let's go up here to the north in Germany. This is a 0.9, 1.0 tremor here. 0.9 microquake to 1.0 tremor here. Germany, nobody felt this earthquake. Nobody can feel it. Let's go further down here in France. This is in the Rhone Alps of France. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Further south in France, Occitanie, France. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. Now let's go over to Normandy, Brittany, France. Right here, Brittany, France. This is a 2.2 earthquake here. Okay. Further south here, Bangor, Brittany, France. This is a 2.8 minor earthquake. Again, even minor earthquakes can only be felt by those that are very sensitive. Most people do not feel these minor earthquakes. Nobody can feel tremors, but they're happening. Let's go down to the French-Spain border region. This is a 1.7 tremor here at the France-Spain border. Just south there, this is a 2.3 earthquake. This is normal here. The border of Spain and France normally has these kind of earthquakes. One other earthquake here. This is a 1.6. 1.6 tremor. Okay? Now, look at Spain. Look at Spain here. Southeastern Spain. 3 earthquakes here. There's a 1.6, a 1.9, and a 2.4. 1.6 and a 1.9 and a 2.4 right here. Okay? Let's go over here between Spain and Morocco. Okay, this is on the earthquake fault just east of Gibraltar. 1.8 tremor and a 2.1 earthquake. 1.8 tremor and a 2.0 earthquake. 2.1 earthquake. Now on the west side of Gibraltar here. Let me move this over. Over here on the western side of the Strait of Gibraltar right here. Okay? This is again on that earthquake fault. It's on that earthquake fault. The same earthquake fault is over on the east side of Gibraltar. We have another earthquake here. This earthquake is a 2.5 minor earthquake. 2.5 minor earthquake right there. North there, Portugal. This is a 1.6 tremor in Portugal, southern Portugal. Over along the coastal areas, or actually not even the coastal areas, but inland from the coast near Lisbon, Portugal, this is a 2.0 earthquake. Unreal. Unreal. Now, I want to show you something else. Okay, I'm going to take down this map here. There's been some earthquakes in southeastern Mexico. Southeastern Mexico. I want to show you those earthquakes right now. Okay? This may blow your mind. Earthquakes in southeastern Mexico around this volcano. This is called the Chiconahuaca volcano. Chiconahuaca, Mexico volcano. Most people don't even know this. USGS is not even showing this. I had to go in and do some research to find this volcano. But the fact of the matter is we have had over 100 earthquakes there within the last 2 days. Over 100 earthquakes there in the last 2 days. Let me show you something. Let me enlarge this volcano picture here. Then I want to show you this. There's that same volcano. Look at all the earthquakes around it. Today, there are over 50 earthquakes around this volcano. No, it has not erupted yet. This volcano has not erupted here, but we have a bunch of earthquakes here. Over 50 earthquakes here. But there's something else here that I want you to see. What's happened here? Look at this. See these earthquakes here? They are in horizontal and vertical lines. Horizontal and vertical lines here. Would you like to know the depth of these earthquakes? 2.1 kilometers deep, 2.0 kilometers deep, 1.9 kilometers deep. Basically the same depth. Whenever we've seen these kind of earthquakes, what do we think? Guys, is anybody here in the chat familiar with what we know to be true with these kind of earthquakes? Arnold, do you have a comment about that? Rich says DUMS. DUM. Deep underground military tunnels. Deep underground military tunnels. Yeah, guys, that's what they are. Right next to this volcano. Unreal. I want to show you these because we've had a lot of earthquakes here. Over 100 earthquakes within the last last 2 days, 48 hours. 48 hours. Over 100 earthquakes. And yet they're all like this. They are all like this. Deep underground military tunnels. Cassandra says, oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. We've been showing these earthquakes all over the world. Literally all over the world. Okay? First off, the first time we saw those was in Spain. In Spain, exactly where I showed you just a few minutes ago. Southern Spain. That's the first time we saw those. At that point in time, there were 300 earthquakes over in southern Spain. Southern Spain right there. Over 300 earthquakes within a matter of a week. What is happening there? Guys, what is happening at these DUMs? Linda Cummings says, explain please. Okay, like I said, we have some earthquakes there in Mexico. I just showed you where we've had more of them here in Spain in the past year. A year ago, we had over 300 earthquakes here in a year. I mean, a year ago, we had over 300 earthquakes within a short period of time, probably a week's time. Now we're having it again. Okay. We've also seen them over in Canada. We've seen them over here in British Columbia, Canada, right there. Deep underground military tunnels. We've also seen them over here in Mexico. We've seen the deep underground military tunnels in Mexico. Why are we getting earthquakes? The simple reason is this. They are destroying the deep underground military tunnel system. Military members have placed explosives and are blowing those deep underground military tunnels up, closing them down. Why do you think they're doing that? Rosemary's here in the chat saying, just so you know, I've tried time and time again to share these videos, and I made sure they were posted, but when I got no response, she said she went back to check and her posts were gone. Rosemary, where did you post them? What venue or platform did you post those videos, the videos on? Linda Covington says all these were man-made. Yes, they were. All these deep underground military tunnels were either man-made or they were tunnels left over from volcanoes. Tunnels left over from the magma chambers when those when magma is running through the ground. Yes, they've done that. Yes, they've done that. In Hawaii, they have deep underground military tunnels, but they're not. I'm sorry, they don't have deep underground military tunnels, but they do have tunnels or former magma chambers that have been open to the public. You can actually wander through these magma chambers over in Hawaii. But here, these are deep underground military tunnels. Unreal. Unreal. But they're blowing these up. That's why we have earthquakes over here. They're blowing them up. Again, we've had them in Spain now. We've had them here in Mexico. Northern Mexico at the U.S. border, they've been blowing them up. About 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, they were blowing them up. We talked about it on this channel. We showed you the earthquakes that are happening on this channel. Over on the Pacific Northwest, Canada, and off coast of Canada as well. They were igniting those tunnels, blowing them up. What do you think's happening? Linda Covington says, used for bases and subs? No. No. How about trafficking? Trafficking drugs. Trafficking children. Trafficking females. And also illegals through the tunnels. We've been told that there are tunnels between the U.S. and Europe. I've been told there are tunnels between the U.S. and Europe. Trump wants them shut down. Trump wants them shut down. They've been taking them out. Now, guys, I do not know how many tunnels were disposed of during the Biden administration, but they have. Rosemary said she posted on other accounts where people were saying that they felt the ground was shaking. I was trying to show them what you were saying, but not one ever stayed up. Rosemary, were they on Facebook? Were they on Telegram? Were they on MeWe? What platforms were they on? Because I want to know who's taking them down. Because I'm going to address it. I've had posts taken off of Facebook all the time. They don't like me. They don't like me at all because I tell everything like the way it is. I've also posted my videos from YouTube on Facebook. I've also gone on Facebook Live and had videos there. They remain up for about a week and then they're gone. That's what the Facebook policy is. They stay up for about a week and then they're gone. Yes, please give us a thumbs up if you think this information is worth sharing. I think it is. Just so you know. YouTube says there's only 48 people watching this program. Really? 6 months ago, we had over 600 people watching this program at a time. Yeah. Now they're saying we only have 48. That's because YouTube is downplaying the numbers. They're shadow banning us. They don't want to let anybody else know on YouTube what's going on in this channel. Yet they are trying to support the newer channels. They're supporting other channels, but they're not supporting this. Interesting. I talked about 2 major earthquakes today. One in the Philippines and one in the Drake Passage, and yet it's not sufficient for YouTube to let anybody know. Stupidity. Absolute stupidity on YouTube's part. But that's what YouTube does. They shadow ban. And they continue doing it. Now, just so you know, let me take this one down. Okay? I'm going to bring up the USGS map again. Just for kicks and giggles here. They're not showing any earthquakes at all here in Europe. There are earthquakes all over Turkey. Earthquakes all over Turkey. Over here in northwestern Turkey, there are over 100 earthquakes here. Again, this has been going on for about a week now. Over 100 earthquakes over here in northwestern Turkey. And earthquakes up and down the entire coastline of Turkey. There are 30 earthquakes over here in the Aegean Sea. 30 earthquakes. Why? Because, folks, there is magma down beneath the surface of this ocean. There is magma going through the magma channels under the Aegean Sea. It's a proven fact. Are we going to see another volcanic eruption in the Aegean Sea? It's possible. It quieted down for quite some time. But during the last few days, there's been an increase in earthquakes here. Let me show you what's going on. Again, I'm going over to my device here. I want to show you what's happening here. It deserves to be seen. Because the agency decides, oh, we're not going to show them. We're not going to let anybody know. Look at these earthquakes in the Aegean Sea here. Unreal. Some of these earthquakes are this. I'm going to tell you what the magnitudes are. 1.3, 1.5, 1.2, 2.6, 2.6 right there. There's where the 2.6 is. You see that backward sea island right there? That's where the earthquake first started. 4.5, 4.8, 3.5, 3.6 and stuff. At first they thought, oh, it's just earthquakes. There are 3 fault zones down underneath the Aegean Sea. USGS then had to admit there are also magma chambers down beneath the Aegean Sea. They finally realized that that was what's going on. 2.6 there, and here's a 1.9 right next to it. Okay? Further south, just north of Crete. This is a 2.9 3.0 earthquake. Happening literally everywhere. Everywhere. Further east over here. Okay? These islands just off the coast of Turkey belong to Greece. They're called the Dokinis Islands. All the islands here in the agency belong to Greece, the Orkneys Islands. This particular earthquake here, that's a 2.2. Right next to it, just beneath it, is a 1.6. South of there, this is a 1.9, 2.0. We go to the northeast here. There are 3 earthquakes here. 3 earthquakes. There's a 1.9, there's a 2.2, and another 1.9. 1.9, a 2.2, another 1.9 there. The Orkneys Islands, guys. The Orkneys Islands. Up here to the north, just northeast of Athens. This is a 1.8 here. Okay, Greece. Look at the earthquakes here on the western shore of Greece. There are 20 plus earthquakes here. 20 plus earthquakes there. Typically, Greece has anywhere from 18 to 36 earthquakes every day. USGS not showing them, are they? That's where they're at today. Okay? Incredible. That's Greece. Now, Italy. Look at the earthquakes here in Italy. This is according to the US, or not the US, but the EMSC, European Meteorological Agency. Okay? Over here near the volcano, Vesuvius volcano. I keep telling you there are earthquakes here. See the Vesuvius volcano here? Let me show it to you on the USGS map. See where Naples is there? The Vesuvius volcano is right there. And guess what? It's been steaming. It's been rocking and rolling. There are earthquakes here. There are plenty of earthquakes here. Just northwest of there. Okay? Pozzuoli, Campania, Italy. 1.3. 1.1. 1.2. 1.2. In the harbor area, 1.1 and 1.2 tremors there. They're not showing all the earthquakes either here on the EMSC. We've had 3.2 and upwards of 4.5 earthquakes in the same area around the Vesuvius volcano here. Today, all we have here are tremors. Okay? Then we go north, over here to north central Italy here. Look at that. I keep telling you about these earthquakes here. Last week, we had another 5.0 earthquake here. When you see swarms of earthquakes, that means seismic energy is building. When you see swarms of earthquakes like this, it means seismic energy is building. And yet, USPS is not showing anything here. Not a thing. We just had a 5.0 earthquake here last week. That's because there's been so much seismic energy here. This is not the only time this has happened. These earthquakes happen here every day. Every day. Yes, some of these earthquakes are only tremors. This is a microquake. This is a 0.6 microquake. Now I'm just pointing out earthquakes here, just so I can. This is a 1.7 tremor. 1.7 tremor. This is a 1.0 tremor. Way south here is a 1.4. Okay? But again, you'll never see this on USGS because they don't care. They don't care. There's swarms of earthquakes. They know swarms of earthquakes cause larger quakes. That's what's happened. But again, there are other quakes here in Europe that USGS is not even covering. Let's take a quick look here. Bosnia-Herzegovina. This happens every day. In this case, it's a 1.7 tremor. Bosnia-Herzegovina. Okay? Going north. Croatia. Another 1.5 tremor. Going north. Poland. 2.1 minor earthquake. Now our viewers have gone from 48 viewers to 25. 48 viewers to 25. Does anybody care what's going on? Here's another 2.5 in Poland. Apparently nobody cares what's going on in Poland or Europe. Nobody. Why not? They're happening. They're happening. Does anybody care that we had an earthquake over here in Greenland today? A greenish earthquake. Greenland earthquake. Does anybody care? This is a 4.7 moderate earthquake here. 4.7 moderate earthquake here in Greenland. Fascinating. Up here near Svalbard, we had 2 earthquakes here in Svalbard. Let me back this out. USGS is not even showing these earthquakes here. There's a 3.4. There's a 3.4 and a 3.3 just south of Svalbard on the same fault line coming out of southern Atlantic, the mid-Atlantic fault. Earthquakes right there. But that's not all, folks. There's more. Remember yesterday when I told you about what might happen within the next short while over on the Reykjanes Peninsula? The possible volcano that would happen again on the Reykjanes Peninsula down here. See where Grindavik is here? Way down here in the far south part of the Reykjanes Peninsula is where the volcanic action first started. See where that volcano is right there? That volcanic action continued with fissures that opened up. Last year it was over here near Grindavik. Now it's moved on. It's up here. Way up here. Now, right here, there's been another earthquake today. They call this Krusevik, Krysuvik. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. 2.1 minor earthquake here. Now, all of a sudden, we have 35 people watching. Interesting. Interesting how it develops here. As I go west and start talking about earthquakes over here in the west, things change, don't they? Oh, yeah. Big time. 36 people watching our program now. Interesting. But that's not all, folks. There's more. They didn't even show this earthquake over in Iceland. But this is just another token of what's going to happen here. This is just another token of what's going to happen. We've had a lot of earthquakes right here. That is because magma's gone all the way up here through magma channels from Grindavik, from way down here near Grindavik, all the way up here. I believe this is where our next volcanic eruption is going to happen. I believe probably within the next week or so, we're going to have another volcanic eruption. It's going to be another fissure opening up. Will be another fissure opening up. We've had fissures for as little as 3 kilometers wide, fissures going on that turn into a great big huge cone that develops after the fissure closes. Has a volcanic cone left over. That's probably going to happen right here again. Just give me a heads up. Just give me a heads up here. Let's go over to Canada. Let's go over here to Canada here. Near the St. Lawrence Seaway right here again. Right here. We had another earthquake here today. USGS not showing it. Now this has got a French name. WA, M-A-L-B-A-I-E. WA, M-A-L-B-A-I-E, Quebec, Canada. This is a 1.95 2.0 earthquake. This is a 1.95 tremor 2.0 earthquake. Why am I saying 2.0 earthquake? Because the agencies downgrade these quakes to the nearest 0.9. This earthquake probably was a 2.0 earthquake today. 2.0 earthquake here, just south of the St. Lawrence Seaway. For the south, the center of the Pneumatic Fault, Caruthersville, Missouri. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. USGS has this as 1.96. This is a 2.0 earthquake. 1.96, they should have termed it 2.0, but again, the United States Geological Survey doesn't want anybody to know exactly how strong these earthquakes are. They're not even they are actually showing it right here. Caruthersville, Missouri. Caruthersville, Missouri. And actually on the USGS map, they're showing it as a 2.0. The Europeans are showing it as a 1.96. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. Whether they want to realize it or not, whether they want to tell anybody it's not moving, that's up to them. But I'm telling you right now, sometime within the next 2 years, I forecast there's going to be a major earthquake here on the Pneumatic Fault. Sometime within the next 2 years, I believe there's going to be a major earthquake here on the Pneumatic Fault. It's going to happen. It's literally when. It is literally when it will happen. We don't know. I wish we would tell you. I really do. But there's been a massive increase in the number of earthquakes and also the strength of these earthquakes that have been here. I showed you that the other day. I believe it was Tuesday I showed you the earthquakes here on the Pneumatic Fault. Yes, there are still tremors, but they're also minor earthquakes. They're also 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. The magnitude of the earthquakes are increasing here. And that's going to continue to happen. Here in Oklahoma, these earthquakes here in Oklahoma are due to fracking. They're fracking earthquakes. Eastern Oklahoma here. Hobart, Oklahoma. This is a 1.5 tremor here. This earthquake here near Pawnee, Oklahoma. This is a 1.4 tremor. Here, this near Okarche, Oklahoma. Those other two earthquakes in Oklahoma we visited before. This is a new earthquake location. Let's take a look at it. This is allegedly 4 miles northwest of Okarche, Oklahoma. Really? Look where this earthquake is. Kingfisher's up here to the northeast. We've had many, many, many earthquakes in Kingfisher. 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes in the past, and Kingfisher. But here, 1.2 here near Okarche, Oklahoma. Let's zoom in here. Anytime we see earthquakes within a 6-mile radius of an oil and gas platform, it's an oil and gas quake. Look what we're seeing here. Just here to the east, there's an oil and gas platform with oil and gas pumps and jacks here. Right there. Up here to the north. Right here. Pumps and jacks here. And further north up here. And over here to the northwest. Pumps and jacks all over here within 6 to 10 miles of this earthquake. This is a oil and gas fracking earthquake. Okarche, Oklahoma. Fascinating. Further down here to the south. Right here. Calmet, Oklahoma. We've had earthquakes here before. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Let's take a look at it. Look at this. Right smack dab next to a pumping station. Right there. Now it doesn't appear that there are pumps and jacks here, but there possibly were. There possibly were pumps and jacks here. Okay? There's pumps and jacks here to the north here. You can see them here. This possibly was an oil and gas quake right here. 4 miles east-northeast of Calmet, Oklahoma. Right down here near Memorial Road here. Oil and gas platform right there. They're all over. Out here to the east right there. Oil and gas platforms. Right there and right there. 6 to 10 miles away from the earthquake, it's an oil and gas quake. Oklahoma. Oklahoma has 586 pumps and jacks. Oklahoma has 586,000 pumps and jacks pumping oil and gas here. It's amazing we don't have more earthquakes here, honestly. Earthquakes here in Texas, the same thing. These are fracking quakes. Each and every one of these are fracking quakes. There's one in red here I'm going to illuminate right there for you. This is a 1.8 tremor here. 1.8 tremor here at the border of New Mexico and Texas. Oil and gas quakes here. Oil and gas quakes. Again, going up here to the Pacific Northwest. I told you about that 3.0 off the coast of Bethel, Oregon, in the Cascadia megathrust earthquake zone, the region. Further south here, this earthquake occurred at 3:02 p.m. this afternoon. 3:02 p.m. this afternoon. This is right smack dab between the Gorda Ridge. See that Gorda Ridge there, that earthquake fault running perpendicular away from the Blanco fracture zone, and down here to the south, the Gorda Escarpment. The Gorda Escarpment runs east and west away from the California coast. This earthquake is right between the Gorda Ridge and the Cascadia subduction zone. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. So now we have two 3.0s here in the Cascadia subduction zone region. Earthquakes happen here. Up here in Oregon. Government camp. Interesting. This is on the north side of Mount Hood. USPS is saying this is 7 miles northeast of Government Camp. In this case, it's on the foothills, or in the foothills of Mount Hood to the north. Government Camp is down here to the south, way down here in the south. So in this case, this earthquake may in fact be over here on the western side, north side of Mount Hood, and be 7 miles away. It's very possible. Also up here to the south of that. They say this is a minus 0.7 microquake. Interesting to note. This is a third of a mile deep here. A third of a mile deep. They say minus numbers, they say are surface quakes. This is not a surface quake. This is like about 2/3 of the way of a mile deep. 2/3 of a mile deep here. Here near the summit of Mount Hood. Right here. They say this is also a minus number, meaning minus 0.1, a microquake. This is 1/10 of a mile deep. 1/10 of a mile deep. It's not a surface quake. It's down inside Mount Hood. It's down in the magma chamber of Mount Hood. They're saying this is a 0.1 microquake. This is a quarter of a mile deep. This is 1/4 of a mile deep inside Mount Hood. Yes, there are earthquakes here at Mount Hood, and I'm telling you right now. When I showed you earthquakes here in the Pacific Northwest yesterday and on Monday, there were a lot more earthquakes than this. There always are. I don't know why USGS insists on showing only microquakes, but that's what they do. They don't want anybody to know the true nature of these volcanoes, especially here at Mount St. Helens, right here on the southern summit of the volcano. We're seeing a 0.3 microquake again. This is directly below the volcanic plug of the volcano. This is a 0.3 microquake directly below the plug of the volcano at Mount St. Helens. Interesting. A 0.3 microquake. Over here on the northwest side of the summit, on the rim of the volcano, again a minus 0.1. This is 1.1 mile deep. It's not a surface quake at all. This is 1.1 mile deep. But again, this is not the only earthquake that occurred here. There are tons of microquakes. There are tons of minor earthquakes, 2.0 to 2.9. Microquakes are 0.1 to 0.9. Tremors are 1.0 to 1.9. They're not showing any of those. But I guarantee you, if we took a look at the seismograph, we see a lot of them. A lot of them. Rifle Lake. Right between Mount Hood, not Mount Hood, but Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. Rifle Lake. 0.9, 1.0 tremor. 10 miles deep. Over here northwest of Mount Rainier. They're not showing any earthquakes at Mount Rainier, but there are tons of them. Northwest of Mount Rainier, they're saying there's a 0.4 microquake. Interesting. Carbonado, Washington. There are probably 36 microquakes at Carbonado. I could pull up the seismogram right now at Carbonado and show you 36 microquakes. Probably another dozen or 24 minor earthquakes. Yeah, they're happening. But again, the agency doesn't want to show it. Heaven forbid. Going up here in the Puget Sound area, right up here, Puget Sound area, we have earthquakes, don't we? We absolutely do. This is a 1.1 tremor. It's the only earthquake they want to tell us about. Again, I just got through showing you earthquakes here in this area yesterday. There are a lot more than this. Over here on the Olympic Peninsula, this is a 0.8 microquake here. Port Hadlock, Irondale, Washington. There are a lot of earthquakes here. But again, the agency doesn't want to show them to us. Why? Because they're afraid that people will move away. The politicians have told the USGS not to say anything. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid people know exactly what's going on. Up here in Canada, just north of the US border, they say this is a 1.3 explosion. They say this is a 1.3 explosion. To the north of this earthquake, this tremor, yes, there's a quarry there. They've also got a river. But what is just east of this earthquake? What is just east of this earthquake? A cotton-picking volcano, guys. This is not an explosion unless Canada has started harvesting trees here in this forested area. Unless Canada started harvesting trees in this forested area, it's not an explosion. It can't be. It can't be. But it could be a spontaneous combustus carnivorous exploding tree. Get prepared for the unexpected here. Get prepared for the unexpected emergencies. My dear friend and moderator here on this channel, Demon Catman, made this for me a while back. Thank you, Demon Catman. You're awesome. I don't see Demon Catman here. He may have some health issues, but I want to give him thanks for this. An exploding tree, a spontaneous combustus carnivorous. This is a laughing matter. This is definitely a laughing matter. But unfortunately, I believe USGS believes what they're saying. It happens all the time. They call something an explosion somewhere near a quarry. It's in a forested area or up on top of a mountain or in a lake or in a river. The other day I showed you a supposed explosion in the middle of a river. It doesn't happen. Never happens. But this is what the agency would have us believe. I call it stupidity. I call it extreme stupidity. That's what it is. Okay. Now that I showed you that, there are a lot of other things I want to talk about here tonight, besides exploding trees. One of the things I want to talk about tonight is emergencies and emergency preparations. Okay? Why? Because they happen. Emergencies happen, and we must know how to treat the emergencies when they happen. And they happen a lot. Just so you know, we've also had a message 4 from the National Tsunami Warning Center about the Drake earthquake. This is message number 4. Again, this message is issued for information only in support of the UNESCO IOC Pacific Tsunami Warning and Mitigation System. Okay? Again, they're calling this, it came out as a 7.4 earthquake. They upgraded to a 7.6, but it came out later as a 7.8. They've downgraded again to 7.6. Okay? 14 kilometers deep, 9 miles deep. An earthquake with a preliminary magnitude of 7.6 occurred in the Drake Passage at 2029 UTC. based on preliminary earthquake parameters. Hazardous tsunami waves are possible for coastlines located within 1,000 kilometers of the earthquake epicenter. The tsunami forecast indicates no tsunami amplitudes above 0.3 meters, meaning about 3 inches. The National Tsunami Warning Center will continue to monitor the nearest sea level gauges to confirm this forecast. Government agencies are responsible for threatened coastal areas should take action to inform and instruct any coastal populations of risk in accordance with their own evaluations and their procedures and their level of threat. Persons located in the threatened coastal areas should stay alert for information and follow emergency instructions from national and local authorities. A tsunami is a series of waves. We've explained this. The time between wave crests can vary from 5 minutes to 4 hours to an hour. 5 minutes to an hour. Impacts can vary from one section of the coast to the next section, according to the bottom of the ocean, the bathymetry of the ocean, and the shape and elevation of the shoreline. Impacts can vary depending on the state of the tide, whether it's high tide, low tide, or in between, and the time of the maximum tsunami wave. Persons caught in the water of a tsunami wave may drown. They may be crushed by the debris in the water or be swept out to sea. The next message will be issued in 1 hour or sooner if the situation warrants. Notice this, at this point in time, they're not even giving a possible tsunami wave at any location in Chile. This particular message does not show any tsunami waves along the Chilean border. None. Punta Arenas, none. Port Williams, none. Coastal regions of Hawaii, American Samoa, and Guam. You should refer to your Pacific Tsunami Warning Center messages, specifically for places that can be found on www.tsunami.gov. Coastal areas of California, Washington, British Columbia, and Alaska should only refer to U.S. National Tsunami Warning Center messages that can be found at www.tsunami.gov. That's all they say here. There is no specific area along the Chilean coastline that they're showing a possible tsunami wave. That's a good thing. But again, the tsunami waves would vary in height from about 3 inches high. That's all. That's all they are expecting. Now, I want to go back to my message about emergency planning for any kind of emergency that you might face. Planning for any kind of disaster. We all need to remain safe and secure in our persons and our property. But no one is ever completely safe from disasters like hurricanes, floods, fires, earthquakes, and even tsunami waves. You need to know what to do in the event of a disaster or an emergency that might happen in your life. You need to know what to do in the event of a disaster, what steps you need to take before the disaster even strikes. You need to assure that your losses are minimized. You need to assure that your losses are minimized. Now, some are very easy. Some things can be very minimized, but important things you need to do to prepare, we're going to talk about right now. One of the most important things you can do before a storm hits your home is make an inventory of your home. Take pictures, Take your device out and take pictures of the contents of your home, your sofas, your chairs, your televisions, your books and bookcases. Take an inventory of your kitchens, all the kitchen equipment you have, including pots and pans, and even plates and dishes. Note what you have and make note of it on a piece of paper as well. Take a picture of your bedrooms, your bedroom furniture, and the contents of your bedroom, sheets and pillowcases as well. Take an inventory of your closets, not just your clothes, but also inventory of your linen closets. What do you have there? Take an inventory of your drawers, your storage areas. If you have nugs, make a picture of your nugs and any seeds for your nugs that you might have. Those people that have been part of our program know what I'm talking about. Take pictures which are actual identification of the items in your home. Talk to your insurance agent. Make sure you have the right homeowner's coverage. For example, some homeowners' owner policies do not cover floods. Some homeowners' policies don't cover floods. You might have to go under the National Flood Program, under FEMA. If you live in certain areas of your state, you might need to have separate wind and hail policies as well. Separate wind and hail policies as well. Okay? It's also important to protect your property before any emergency or disaster hits. Sometimes it's not the storm that directly causes or impacts damage to your home, but your possessions that are not secured in your yard. Your picnic table, your patio table, your chairs, your playground equipment, or other furniture you might have out there. Lastly, excuse me, sorry about that. Lastly, have a plan in place, knowing how you're going to respond to whatever emergency you might have. That may have a big impact on you and your family. Collect and review important documents. Gather important paperwork, including insurance policies, medical records, prescriptions, insurance documents, titles to your home, rental applications, and kind of rental information you might have. How about passports? How about titles and registration for your car? How about IDs, personal IDs for each one of you and your family, your children and adult members of your family? Make these records. Get a large gallon Ziploc baggie and put that information inside the baggie. Collect and review any important documents and gather them together. Make copies and put them in that baggie. Make sure it's Ziploc so it can be prepared, so it can be kept away from water and other things that might destroy those documents. Put those things in your emergency preparedness kit. Okay? If you have to evacuate your home, take your preparedness kit and your documents and go. Know exactly what your insurance policy does and does not cover. Remember, no homeowner's insurance policy covers flooding. The only way to protect your property from flood loss is to purchase flood insurance from the National Flood Insurance Program. Note this, policies must be in effect more than 30 days before the coverage takes effect. Flood insurance policies must be in effect more than 30 days before the coverage takes effect. Contact your insurance agents for more information. Further, North Carolina, where I live, some policies in North Carolina's coastal areas may not cover wind-related damage. Notice that. Policies may not cover wind-related damage. Now, we talked about toolkits before. Let's talk about toolkits again. Use a waterproof portable bag or a container to store items needed during a disaster in case there's no electricity or water at your residence. Use a portable bag or container to store items needed during a disaster in case there's no electricity or water at your residence. This kit should be easily accessible if officials call for an evacuation. The toolkit should include such things as a battery-operated weather radio, an AM/FM NOAA weather radio. I've shown you that before. I've got one here on my desk I keep here. Extra batteries. Here on my desk and in our preparedness kit here, we have extra batteries. AA, AAA, C's, D's, and even 9-volt batteries have extra batteries. Notice also you need to have a power source for cell phones. This power source is made by 4 Patriots, sold and made by 4 Patriots. On the one end here, this provides power. You can plug your phones right in here and it will provide power for up to 2 cell phones at a time. And we've been able to power, not just power, but recharge cell phones 3 times before we have to recharge this battery. This is a solar powered unit. This is a solar power screen right here. Put it in the sun and keep it charged. Power source for your cell phones. Most cell phones do not come with an extra battery. The battery's all included in the cell phone. You can't get another battery. So you need to have an extra battery source for that. Make sure you have also over-the-counter medicines, prescriptions, and also first aid kits. Over-the-counter medicines, prescriptions, and first aid kits. If severe weather is predicted, keep prescription medicines in a Ziploc bag, ready to go in case of an emergency evacuation. Keep it in a Ziploc bag in your refrigerator in case it's insulin or other kind of related medication. Okay? Have enough prescription medication on hand, enough to have with your non-perishable food as well. Keep a 90-day supply of medication. We have a food storage program in our home. Our pantry is full of food. We have probably 4 months worth of food here in our pantry. It could go longer than that. But we also have another at least 2 months worth of food of the variety of freeze-dried. We have 2 months worth of freeze-dried food, meaning now we have a 6-month supply of food. Once you have a 6-month supply of food, make it 1 year. Work on getting a 1-year supply of food in your home. Along with food, you need water. 1 to 3 gallons of water per person per day, minimum, for washing, cleaning, and also food preparation and drinking as well. Washing, cleaning, food preparation, and drinking. Water, 1 to 3 gallons a day, period. Plan for the personal needs of your family. including senior citizens, those with special needs, children and pets. Remember, boredom sets in quickly when there's no electricity. We saw that last year when we had the hurricane hit here in North Carolina. Our power here was out for almost 2 days. We got by just fine. Our family got by just fine. The other thing you need to have is emergency cash. Every time you get paid, salt away a few dollars, put it in a Ziploc storage container, and put it in your emergency kit. That way you always have money. Why? Because in an emergency, your cards and plastic won't be able to work. You won't have any electricity. No ATMs, no stores with cash registers that depend on you being able to pay for food via electricity. All that'll be down. The only thing you will have is the cash on your person. When you have cash on your person, make sure that you have no bills larger than a $10 bill. Most of your bills should be $1 to $5 worth of bills, nothing larger. Because if you go to buy something and you have a $10, $20 bill, guess what? The store might not be able to provide change for you. So if you really need something, you're going to have to give them that money. Then you will be out that amount of money that you give them. Remember that. Again, put together an emergency kit, a go bag, at least a go bag. In the event of an evacuation notice, a secondary toolkit should be ready ahead of time. Your go bag. Your go bag. Pack a duffel bag or a backpack. Blankets, pillows, games, and other personal items that would be necessary if you have to stay in a shelter or other public place. In the event of an evacuation notice being given, a secondary toolkit should be ready ahead of time. Again, pack a duffel bag with blankets, pillows, games, and other personal items that would be necessary for staying in a shelter or a public place. Also, we talked about this before as well. Plan your escape. Plan your escape. I guess people don't want to know this. They don't have interest in being prepared. The number of people watching is dropped down to 36 people watching. Go figure. People don't care to know how to prepare for themselves. Make sure you have a plan to escape. Again, never, unless you absolutely have to, never get on a highway. Never get on a major road. Why? Because they may have roadblocks. Either the police or National Guard will have roadblocks. Stay on service streets. Stay on service streets. Okay? If you shelter in place, this could mean you determining ahead of time where the safest place in your home is going to be. In the event of a tornado or a hurricane, that place is the most interior part of your home or building, away from windows or in the basement. Away from windows or in the basement. In case of flooding, you would need to get as high as possible to escape rising water. During Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, water rose upwards of even 6 to 10 feet high. Some people climbed into their attics and that wasn't good enough. They had to break out the ceiling. They had to break out the roof of their home to go up to a dry place. Remember this. You need to go up to the highest place possible to escape rising water. In the case of a wildfire, you would need to seek a place outside where outside air is not sealed off. Seek a place where outside air is sealed off, so you will not get that much smoke. In each situation, be ready to evacuate when officials give notice. Don't wait like my brother-in-law did back in 2014 when a fire was creeping down into the housing development where he was living. He didn't want to leave. He wasn't packing. He and his wife were going to stay in a home no matter if their home was burning down or not. Fortunately, I got there. I started throwing things in their car so they could evacuate. And while I was doing that, my brother-in-law sat on his butt and didn't lift a hand. Later, when a sheriff's deputy came and knocked on his door, you have to evacuate now. And he said, what if they don't? He said, what if they don't? Then you'll be arrested. You could be arrested for failing to obey a lawful order to evacuate. Because if the sheriff has to come and get you, or the fire department has to come get you and rescue you, you're putting those people's lives on the line, and the police don't like that. I wouldn't like it. We finally got my brother-in-law convinced he had to evacuate. Fortunately, I had already thrown things in their car. They only had to throw a few other things, and they got out. Pay attention. If you're required to evacuate, do so. Don't fight the cops. Don't fight me if I'm your friend or your family member coming to help you. I was an emergency manager. Please pay attention to that information. It is important to include this in your disaster plan. Your plan to evacuate. Your plan to either stay in shelter in place or evacuate. Also, some means to contact someone else in case you have to evacuate. A way to contact somebody else and tell them where you're at. Remember that. Again, review your insurance policies, your homeowners policies, your medical policies. Replacement cost is the amount it would take to rebuild your home or repair damages with materials of the similar kind and quality without deducting for depreciation. Without deducting for depreciation. The depreciation is the decrease in your home or property value since the time it was built or purchased due to the age or wear of your home. Actual cash value is the amount that would take to repair the damage to your home after depreciation. Remember that. That's important information. Most standard homeowners policies cover the contents of your home only. Homeowners policies usually only cover the contents of your home on an actual cash value policy. Many companies offer an option for you to insure your property at replacement cost. They offer you an option to insure your property at replacement cost. That insurance premium may be slightly higher for that kind of coverage, but you might want to consider that as an option. The numbers watching still go down. Now only 33 people watching. It's incredible what people don't want to know. They don't care. When they have to evacuate, something happens, they're going to care. Now, as I said before, earlier this week, we have a storm off the eastern coast of our country right now. Florida, Georgia, South, North Carolina, Virginia, and all the way up to Maryland. Now it's Maryland. There is coastal flood advisories in place. There are coastal advisories, flood advisories in place. Renee Sevy says the National Weather Service out of Baltimore, Maryland, has issued a coastal flood advisory for Washington, D.C. and Anne Arundel for flooding and expected during high tide. Flooding expected during high tide. Be aware of this, guys. This is going to continue to happen all weekend long. That storm's not going away. Yes, there's going to be some storm surge. There's going to be flooding along the coastline, including the barrier islands, islands just offshore. You may have your highways also cut off by the storm surge. You guys need to be aware of that. That's happening right now. Renee Sepi says a dust advisory has been issued today at 3:39 p.m. Pacific time out of Pendleton, Oregon, for Umatilla, Oregon, Benton, Washington, and Walla Walla, Washington, a dust advisory. That's because that storm I told you about coming in off the Pacific Northwest is creating a dust storm, a very bad dust storm. Both coasts are going to be affected by flooding. Both coasts are going to be affected by high winds, upwards of 40, 45 miles an hour. Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, northern Utah, and Colorado may see some snow. Be aware of that. Prepare for that. Laura Marie is here in the chat saying she really likes Preparedness Fridays. It's good to be educated and reminded about its importance. Yes, this is important. I want to make sure you guys are taken care of. Again, make sure you have insurance that is appropriate for your home and family and your needs. Keep your policies accessible. Again, put them in a Ziploc bag to protect them and keep them secure in your preparedness kit. I keep a copy in my preparedness kit. I keep a copy in my file right here. My file's above the main floor, on the second floor of a home. That way, if we have flooding, I have a chance to get to it before anything else gets wet. Okay? Now, you may also need a separate windstorm or hail policy. You may need a separate windstorm or hail policy. Renter's insurance. Everyone I know should have required renter's insurance. It's required when you sign a document here to rent an apartment where I live. They require renter's insurance. We have that here. Renters should consider purchasing coverage for their personal property. Without it, in the event of a disaster, you have no place to turn to recoup your damages or losses. Renter's insurance, you need to know. Renter's insurance covers only the contents of the rented shelter. Does not cover the rented shelter itself. It only covers the contents of your home. College students, you need to consider or have college renters insurance, college student insurance. You can purchase that insurance and cover your dorm as well. You can purchase renter's insurance for your dorm room as well. That kind of coverage exists. Before sending your son or daughter to college, check your homeowner's policy to determine whether or not dormitory coverage is needed. As some homeowners' policies will cover losses from dorm rooms, but most do not. People living in the barrier islands, outer banks of North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Outer Banks property owners may be eligible to purchase protection under a program called the Coastal Property Insurance Pool. The Coastal Property Insurance Pool, formerly known as the Beach Plan. The CPIP, the CPIP, offers coverage for fire, lightning, theft, wind, and hail damage. For more information, contact your insurance agent, or you may call CPIP directly. Get this number, write it down, 1-800 1-800-662-7048. 1-800-662-7048. That is for Coastal Property Insurance Pool. Similar coverage can be purchased for those people living anywhere but the Outer Banks under the FAIR plan. FAIR. These two plans ensure that property owners can get insurance coverage. If you need more information on these plans, call 1-800-662-7048. Now, Linda Covington said something that's very important. Remember, stuff is just stuff. Life is more important. Don't forget that. Juvie Joe's here in the chat. You can't document enough. You cannot document enough. That is the absolute truth. Standard homeowners policies do not cover flood damage. And in some coastal areas, windstorm and hail coverage are also excluded from the standard policy. The only way you're going to protect yourself from flood losses is to purchase flood insurance from the National Flood Insurance Program. Again, policies must be in place at least 30 days before the coverage takes place. 30 days before the coverage takes effect. Okay? Complete a home inventory, as I said in the beginning. The purpose of a home inventory is to document what you own and help you yourself and your insurance company to evaluate your loss. That's why you need to complete a home inventory, put it in writing, and also take pictures. Put it in writing, take pictures, guys. This is important. Go from room to room and write down everything. Photo or video the brand name and description of the product, along with the estimated value of your belongings, if you can remember when you bought them, and document that as well. If you can see serial numbers on your item, document or photograph that. Compile any receipts you may still have from your purchases and photograph them. All the things in my home I have purchased, I have documents of that purchase in my files here. I keep those documented in purchase of appliances. My file is called purchase of appliances. Remember, go into your closets, your storage places, and garage and document those items as well. Okay? Upload and scan these documents into your computer or to cloud storage and date that file. If you use a mobile app, research and use these things on your phone's app store. Research and use those things on your phone's app store. Store your home inventory in a safe, easily accessible place online, or on your computer, or on a safety box, or on a stick. A stick, just like this. Consider sharing a copy with friends or relatives for your convenience. You can use an interactive inventory chart. If you need an interactive inventory chart, call me or even text me or write me on our email. Don't call, but write me on our email or text me, and I'll send a copy of that to you. I have inventory sheets here on my computer. That way you'll be able to document everything. I even have a calculator at the bottom of the page to document your possessions and the value of your possessions. This will give you a good idea of how to get started with the information I've given you. Juvie Joe says they didn't say what we didn't maintain our underground pipes. No, you don't. That is up to the city That is up to the city. Unless the pipes are in your home, that is an entirely different story. Protect your property. If you think a storm is approaching, cover your windows with storm shutters, siding, or plywood. Move your vehicles into a garage when possible, or park them near your home away from trees. Park them near your home away from trees or even telephone poles. Move your barbecue grills and patio furniture and potted plants into your house or garage. Don't use your grill inside your home. Do not use your grill inside your home. Do not use your grill inside your home. I said it 3 times, that's important. Loose objects in your yard can become missiles. So tie anything down. Tie everything down that you can't bring indoors. Clear debris from gutters and downspouts. Anchor any fuel tanks. Move furniture. Move your valuables. Move important documents to a safe place. Okay? Juby Joseph's notes on your property profile. The insurance won't cover that plumbing damage. They won't do it. Everybody knows it's there, but nobody's going to cover it, unfortunately. Any questions? Don Toga says, depends on where you live, check closely. I agree. Check your policies. Check your policies, guys. Any questions? Any questions? I know I've gone over it very quickly. I know I've gone over that very, very quickly. But I wanted to make sure you have that information. Fridays are Emergency Preparedness Fridays. That's why we're here. Judy Joe says you're responsible for underground power coming in. That's probably true. Be prepared, guys. Be prepared. Nobody else is going to do it for you. I promise you, nobody else is going to do it for you at all. Not going to happen. Now, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. I want you to not just be prepared, but be prepared for any eventuality. I'm talking your spiritual health as well. Pray. Do those things that are necessary to keep you in a good place. Do those things that's necessary to keep you in a good place. Stand ye in holy places, and be not moved, until the day the Lord come. For behold, it cometh quickly, saith the Lord. Amen. Stand ye in holy places. So when it's time for you to leave this earth, you can be prepared quickly and be welcomed into our Father's kingdom and see and know Jesus Christ again. Know God. Know God. Be spiritually, psychologically, and physically prepared. As Don just said in the chat, being prepared is much more than just having a supply of stuff. Be in tune through prayer and Heavenly Father. Listen to that still small voice that talks to you. Listen to the Holy Ghost when He talks to you. And I'm here to tell you that's important. I testify to you now that God lives. He hears and answers our prayers. Jesus Christ lives. He's our Redeemer, the light and life of the world. May God bless you. May God bless you, that you will stand in holy places, that you will be prepared for whatever eventuality might come. Be prepared, brothers and sisters. These are the last days. These are the last days. I ask God to be with you this day and always. May God bless and protect you and be with you until we meet again. Have a good night, guys. Have a great weekend. If anything else major happens, we will be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Otherwise, we'll see you on Sunday for our Sunday school class called Come Follow Me, the Savior Says, that happens just after 12:30 Sunday afternoon. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you soon. Take care. Much love. I love you very much. I really do. I care for each one of us. That's why I'm here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. Have a good night, guys. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Here at Emergency Management Associates, we're dedicated and true, bringing you the essential knowledge, helping you see things through. From disaster preparedness to navigating recovery's embrace, we're here to guide you in every unpredictable time and place. We break down the complex, make it easy to grasp and absorb, sharing strategies for safety, the vital lessons you can't afford to hoard. So thank you for watching, and thank you so much for your sub. You're a key part of our growing family, a member of our knowledge club. With every like, every share, and every comment you send our way, our critical message spreads further, helping more people every single day. Together we're stronger and more prepared. That's the truth we all abide. You help us build resilience with nowhere for uncertainty to hide. Your engagement truly inspires us. Your feedback acts as a guiding light, helping us continually grow and making our channel's future bright. We're always learning, always striving to be better, bring you the most up-to-date information, no matter the weather. Emergency Management Associates is here for you now and forever, it's true. Keep watching, keep learning, because we truly appreciate all that you do. Thank you. Thank you.